right, good morning. It's Wednesday, and I want to welcome you to another episode of this program, Morning Delight, on Glorious Vision Television of the Apostolic Church. We are reaching you live from our studios here in Lagos, Nigeria. On this program, we have a whole lot of conversations for you in case you're just joining us for the first time. And you have the opportunity to join the conversations from the newspaper review segment to what's happening in our country, the topic of the day. You can always join in with the number you'll be seeing on your screen as the program is going on. And if you're watching through our social media platform, Facebook, YouTube, drop a comment for us, hit the like button and the share button. My name is Jeff Tabako here. Feel free to call me the short bag dude in case you are just seeing me for the first time. But I'm not alone on this program. We never walk alone. We are not Liverpool fans though, but we never walk alone. With a full squad, I have with me John, I have Abigail, and I have Abiodo. Good morning.
Good morning,
Good
Jeff.
morning.
Good
Hope I
morning.
pronounce the name well, so that I will not impure the wrong of my MD.
It is well.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
It's obvious that you are good.
It's a beautiful morning.
Beautiful.
We thank God for life. We thank God for rain. We thank God for sunshine. And we thank God for everything. We just give glory to God.
You remind me of that song. There's a song to that. Lyrics. Abiodo.
I'm fine, thank God. I'm having symptoms of malaria, so I've tried to take some drugs. I'm on drugs now, but I thank God for life. We give glory, and the work has to continue. Oh, wow.
A lot of people are actually under the
Weather,
I'm not excluded from that. So we just have to make it happen. That is why we must be here for the viewers at home. John.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. It's our road.
It's fine. Well, the traffic is lesser now, but I think they just having some finishing touches to the work on that axis, and then I think, but yet the traffic is still a bit better, especially coming into Lagos is free for now, so at least you can between 1 hour 30 minutes you can estimate your time from here to Ibadan, and you get here right on time. So like someone who traveled down from Ibadan drove himself 1 hour, he was in Lagos. So relatively we have a better traffic flow now.
thank
Talking
God.
about that road, I was talking to somebody some few days ago, and I was telling him that as soon as work on that road, the express is completed, people will be even staying in Ibadan.
Sure.
I'm coming to Lagos.
It
for
has
work
been like
every
that.
day.
It has been like that.
Go and come, because the place is not really.
It's not really far.
People work in Lagos and live in Ibadan, and they go every day. Just a maximum of 1 hour 30 minutes. So all things being equal.
Consider
Maximum of
what
1
of the
hour.
transport fare and the buying
For you
of
to be able to do that, that means you are having a good pay.
Pay.
And again, because of the issue of economy now, then accommodation in Ibadan is very cheap.
Cheaper.
So people prefer staying there and coming to work because things were cheaper then. But now that the economic situation has changed, so you will have to calculate the transportation, the accommodation over there. You have to put them side by side. Does it worth it staying out there? But I have someone that lives in Ibadan and works in Lagos. So he stays in Lagos during the week, working days, and weekends he returns back to the family.
That one is really.
That one is common.
I still be a little bit.
So that means you have to cut your material according to
Cut your clothes according to the available material.
So that is it.
Not according to your size.
Size.
Yes,
It's not
I
according
wanted
to
to
your
say
size.
something that I am looking forward to. Some private organization, they do have that, and I'm looking forward to when we will also have that we will have HMO for our organization. So this issue
Staff
of
quarters.
I'm sick. No, not even staff quarters.
Okay.
Health
Health
insurance.
Yes. So from time to time we do check up, we do these things. Like our own type of job is a stressful job. Before you know it, you are down. Before you know it, you are down. The stress, the energy you burn, and all those things. So I think I'm looking forward to when we here at GVTV we have HMO for our organization, then we will be able to do our regular health checkup.
Right.
Everybody, myself, when you guys were saying symptoms, I just kept quiet. Everybody is just managing his or her health.
Yes, the people in charge are actually listening and are taking that from you. Let's move quickly to the next segment of the program, newspaper review segment. As usual, we have few of our Nigerian daily just this morning, and you can always join the conversation with the number you're seeing on your screen. Majorly, today marks the 100 days in office of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and a lot of people have come out to give their scorecard or rate the administration of 100 days if on the scale of 1 to 10. Those stories are on the front page of the paper, but before we get into that, the major headline we have on the Vanguard newspaper, we made the Vanguard newspaper this morning. The major headline on the Vanguard newspaper this morning is strike halts activities in Rivers, Osun, Edo, Kano, Kaduna, and Cross River. Records partial compliance in Lagos, Abuja, Ogun, Delta, Ekiti, Kebbi. Power disruption looms as workers shut down Osogbo Transmission Company. Banks, courts shut as Anambra NLC joins strike. Strike steals election tribunal ruling in Edo. Commercial activities, others. They want meet our objective. That is coming from Ajero. Adds the two to send stronger signal. So it's no longer news that the NLC is on warning strike, 2 days warning strike, and today is the second day. There's a whole lot of stories coming from that. Opinions, as usual, when there's a subject matter, there's always different opinions to it. Some people say the NLC is one voice because not every of their people comply to this warning strike. News have it that TUC did not join the strike and all that, and a whole lot of people know we're speaking behind camera and trying to analyze it and say maybe those people who did not join, they have better offers, or they believe they should still be patient with the administration. Different
for long a time. I think since after the tenure of the former governor of Edo State,
Adam Osho.
ever since after then, when he left the union, I think Labour has not been itself again. It has been a divided house.
Yes.
And I think it has been politicized. Some people will be for this, some people will be for that, and then they are being influenced over time. So once they make this decision that okay, we are going for a strike for the sake of the people, and this another set of people will say no, we are not going, and like that, we have been in that mess, and like that. So they have not been in one voice over time. Unlike before, when you hear Aluta Continua everywhere, but now the story is different. Labour cannot be going on strike until you said no, they cannot. These are still the same body, and if something like this is there's definitely a lot of things is going on behind the door that we don't know.
all right, we hope that the purpose for this morning strike is achieved in this one. And talking about what I said earlier on, Tinubu administration, 100 days in office. We have a story on page 12 and 13 that says, despite slight improvement, reign of terror continues. So, like I said in the beginning, a lot of people coming out with their opinion, a scorecard. How do we rate the administration so far, Abigail? 100 days in office.
We can say, looking at what is happening in the country and the views and opinions of the citizens, and the speech that our president gives from time to time since he got into the office, which was not like that in the previous regime. We can hope for a better Nigeria, because you know they said getting to achieve the best, it takes process, and that process most times may not be convenient. So our president is telling us to still keep our hopes high, that no matter what we are facing now, even though it's not palatable, even though it's not so easy with the citizens, he said we should be rest assured that it will result in the best for us. So I think all what I'll just say is we'll keep persevering till I'm backing up on the words of the president till we have a better Nigeria, as he said that he's trying to achieve.
On my side, my opinion on 100 days in office is a good one. And I think he has started that. It is part of his own leadership principle ever since he was a governor. He does that from time to time to be accountable to the followers. And then with that, there's a lot of evaluation. He will see himself where he needs to improve, where he has make errors, the decision he has made in those 100 days. They'll be able to put things together. Okay, this is how far we have gone within this 100. And him coming to do so when he is the president of Nigeria now, it's a good one. But at the same time, I think Nigerians, we just have to be patient. We know how the government have been run over years. It is not about party now, because it's about the leadership now. And if he's having this good mind, and we know that in the political system, we have those that, because of what they are gaining from the bad situation, they won't want improvement to come like that. And for him, he's a man who has seen it all. So he has been able to see where he needs to put 1 plus 1, 2 minus 1 to get the result. And since he's having his set goals and he's trying to achieve it, so let's be hopeful that he will be able to do something. God backing him.
All right, like you said, the good thing is that it's always coming to address us, unlike the previous administration. I have called for calm, and we all know that it's not a quick fix. So it's just according to him, it's a temporary time, hard time that we come out of it as a country, and for the better, the thing renewed hope. So we just hope that the hope that is being renewed is going to end well at the end of the day. So you have your scorecard. You can always tell us what you think about the 100 days in office of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu with the number you see on your screen. That story is on page 12 and 13. Let's move quickly because of our time. On page 8, our founding fathers won independence, failed to build a nation. That is coming from Jonathan. Their founding fathers won independence but failed to build a nation. That's on page 8. And on page 9, NNPP crisis deepening as faction expel Kwankwaso. So they have crisis in the NNPP, and that story is on page 9 if you're interested in that one. And on page 8, APC's past rejection of fuel subsidy removal was political. That is coming from Fayemi. I saw this yesterday. And this is what we have been saying behind the camera when we have discussion, that when they had their own demonstration, 2012, just behind us here in Abiola Garden, when the then president Jonathan actually removed fuel subsidy. Now, one of those people then have come and fired me to say it was just political. Because if you can protest then, why can't people protest now that subsidy? So that story is on page 8 if you are interested in that one. And on page 15, presidential poll, the 4 women who will decide fate of Atiku, Tinubu, Obi today. If you want to see those judges that will be in charge. One good thing about the verdict, they have agreed to televise it live for us to see. So starting from this morning, you can watch it live as proceedings have been happening in Abuja in the Federal High Court. So we hope that at the end of the day, there won't be fight, there won't be rancor. That story is on page 15. And on page 8, Justice Odili's pre-judgment remarks worrisome. That is coming from the Labour Party. And on page 22, fuel subsidy interest fighting us. That is coming from Shetima, the Vice President, saying fuel subsidy interests are fighting the government. And page 7, one killed as task force truck drivers tout clash in Mile 2. One killed as task force truck drivers and tout a clash in Mile 2. That is on page 7. That's all. The picture story, which we have it in all of the Nigerian dailies that we have with us this morning, it's a congratulatory message from the Honorable Minister of Interior, Honorable Dr. Olubumi Tunji Ujo, congratulating the President on his 100 days in office. That's all I have from the Vanguard newspaper this morning.
I have with me the Nigerian Tribune, and the headlines for this morning are tight security as court delivers presidential election verdict today. Television stations set up equipment for live broadcast. We can read that on page 8. NLC strike, banks, courts, ports, offices shut, partial compliance in some states, aviation unions opt out. We can read that on page 10. Nominations open for 2023 Obafemi Awolowo Leadership Prize. We can read that on page 5. Health Insurance Group posts 20 billion naira in revenue for FY 2022. We can read that on page 6. IGP orders probe of cadet officers' deaths at Police Academy. We can read that on page 26. Ekiti residents cry for help as gunmen abduct 4 farmers 5 days after killing one. This is a pathetic one. The security challenges happening in the country is an alarming one that needs to be put in place and needs to be checked. The Lord's guidance continue to be on us. And we can read that on page 8. One killed as truck drivers, task force clash in Lagos. We can read that on page 5. We played mere politics with protests against fuel subsidy removal in 2012 by Fayemi. You can read that on page 5 on the Nigerian Tribune. Lastly, federal government cancels Intel's pilotage monopoly, engages 4 new firms. We can read that on page 6. And that's all from the Nigerian Tribune this morning.
All right, I have made the Punch newspaper this morning, and the major headlines: presidential poll, every security as tribunal decides Atiku will be petitioned against Tinubu. Police block entrance to Court of Appeal. Warn politicians against violence. 5 justices decides Atiku will be petitioned today. Security against patrol, Abuja. You can find the story on page 3 and 8 of the Punch newspaper. Lagos, Katsina, Sokoto workers shun LLC strike grounds, Abuja State. Airport, bank workers ignore strike. Maritime Union blocks Warri Lagos port. I found the story on page 2. Contractor protests as federal government dumps asphalt for concrete roads. I found the story on page 9. Dollar debt. CBN repays bank next week. Naira may rebound. You can find the story on page 9. Fund regional rails projects. Federal government tells governors. You can find the story on page 17. World Bank delays $8.6 billion loan to Nigeria. Reports. You can find the story also on page 17. MNPP rejects one parcel expulsion held to court. You can find the story on page 16. Oshodi bus terminal decaying, motorists lament. Oshodi bus terminal decaying, motorists lament. You can find the story on page 4 and 5.
Sorry, I would love to make a comment on that. Oshodi bus terminal. I think one of the problems we have, apart from the government putting infrastructures in
There's no
places, is
maintenance.
maintenance.
Yeah.
It has been long I went to that terminal, and few days ago, I was there, though there are some little changes, but the facilities they put in place there were not really maintained, and that means that over time, these structures that over billions of money
Naira.
were spent will become dilapidating and become useless. People, the guys, street guys begin to get occupied on that place, and the things that we should treasure begin to lose value. And I think the federal government should see something to do, or the government of each state should see something to do, instead of wasting money that should develop the country.
You can find the story on page 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper. Violence rock Lagos community as tax officials kill driver. I read the story yesterday. People were complaining that there was chaos in my 2 area yesterday, that tax officer killed one of the drivers coming from Tsinkai Island. They asked him to stop. Maybe he did not stop on time. And when he later stopped, maybe they were asking for some things, and maybe argument came between them.
I wish
And
I
he
have
was shot
seen those
dead.
people on operation. They are so ruthless, and then the fact, I don't know why they were empowered to be doing so. I have witnessed one right opposite us here. The young man was trying to navigate his way, so he was trying to, maybe he's checking his Google map to see what direction he should go. They just came from behind, based him down. The guy couldn't move, wanted to move on. So people we were watching what they were about to do. They just came down. He's a young guy. They just rushed in and took his car key away from him and asked him to come down, follow them, and do. So everybody was like, what is happening? He's not picking passengers. You didn't even ask him what is wrong to even help him out of the situation. Everybody just came out, shout on them, and that's how they just left the young man and leave. So that means they are doing some illegal activities. You need to see them every morning, what they do. And the government, the federal and the state government should see into it. Now they have killed somebody.
They've killed somebody.
Who will be accountable for that?
The law will take its course.
And the aftermath of that,
They are trying
is
with that.
all about money.
It's about money. And
Yes,
one of the
thoughts,
eyewitnesses
yes,
said they had
thoughts
to run away in another
Yes,
car
thoughts people.
just to
And
leave.
the-
Now
the
they
state
cannot
government should
identify the tax official tax
Officer.
of false people that did it, but they say they are unidentified.
All right, we hope that
find
things
this
get better in our country. Nigeria. We are praying for a better country. Right about now, Seun Olofila is standing by to give us sporting stories that we need to know and we need to hear this morning. Seun, good morning. Over to you.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, if they cannot be able to identify those who did that evil deed, I can identify Djokovic. He has progressed to the semi-final. Of course, Novak Djokovic made it through to the US Open semi-finals for the 13th time in his career after extinguishing the challenge of American #1, Taylor Fritz, on Tuesday. Djokovic surpassed Roger Federer by reaching 47th Grand Slam semi-final, and he also became the first in ATP ranking history to record 250 career wins over top 10 players by easing to a 6-1, 6-4, 6-4 victory against Fritz on Otto Ashe Stadium yesterday. Of course, the 9 seed hit more winners, 33 to 25. That is a very good one for Novak Djokovic, as also is routine to be at the final, and now is in the semi-final.
And meanwhile, German's Alexander Zverev also came through the longest match of this year's US Open to beat 6th seed Jannik Sinner and reach the quarterfinal. Of course, he has reached the quarterfinal, and he's going to meet with Carlos Alcaraz, the ATP #1. In that one, Zverev seeded 12 clinched a 6-4, 3-6, 6-2, 4-6, and 6-4, which made him eligible to play against Carlos Alcaraz next in the quarterfinal. The quarterfinal will be played in the midnight of today. That will be on the 7th in midnight today, and of course we'll bring the reports as that one comes. And then in the WTA. Still in the US Open, American teenager Coco Gauff delighted the fans by reaching her first US Open semifinals with a 6-0, 6-2 victory over Iga Swiatek's conqueror, Jelena Ostapenko, yesterday. Of course, Gauff, whose lead up to US Open included on-court titles in Washington and Cincinnati. She's a teenager and she has stunned so many people in this in the course of this US Open by reaching her first semi-final. It's a great one seeing this young teenager doing great one. But of course, nobody expected that she was going to defeat Ostapenko, as Ostapenko herself defeated world number one Iga Swiatek, and of course, this is a great one for Coco Gauff in that one. And of course, Gauff will be meeting with Czech number 10 seed and French Open finalist Caroline Muchova. Yes, she'll be meeting with her in the semi-final. We'll see how all those ones pan out. We'll give you the report in that one. In football, Women's World Cup winning coach George Vilda has been sacked by the Spanish FA amid the case row surrounding its president Luis Rubiales. Of course, we all remember what happened after the Women's World Cup. That the president of Football Federation of Spain kissed one of our players, and of course it became so controversial, and all over the world they were asking him rather to resign, but he refused until FIFA stepped in that he should be suspended. And of course, over the course of this man's career, Vilda, he is the coach of the women's national team of Spain, and he has, the president has already helped over the time to stay afloat. Don't let us forget that going to the last World Cup before this one, so many players said they were not going to participate in the national team. I mean, the women in the national team, accusing Vilda of assaulting them, and they asked him to resign and to step aside, but he refused because this particular president supported him. And now, when he confirmed and he condemned what this president did, he didn't ask him to resign, but he has been asked to resign, and he has resigned successfully in that one. Of course, another coach tentatively has been appointed for the Spain women national team. So United's share suffered its worst day ever on Tuesday, with more than 600 million wiped off the market value of the club, following weekend reports that the Glazers family were going to take it off the market. The share price closed at $23.66 on Friday and dropped to a low as $18.83 on Tuesday, with it closing at $19.35. The New York Stock Exchange was closed on Monday because it was Labor Day, and of course, yesterday it was the biggest sell-off since the Manchester United went public in 2012. Previous record, which dropped to 13.8% on March 12, 2020, is not a good one for Manchester United. And of course, the Glazers have been tipped to sell the club to Sheikh, but they are still obstinate. They don't want to sell it. But we'll see how the whole thing pans out later on. On the home soil, the Nigerian Referee Association has revealed plan to introduce video assistant referee in the 2023-2024 Nigerian Professional League season. Of course, President of the NRA, Sonny Zubar, disclosed this during a chat with the media. Then he said that introduction of the VAR will aid the performance of referees during their games, and it's a welcome development. Zubar is a retired FIFA badge referee. Is optimistic of improved officiating in this coming season, but so many people have been saying that as good as this introduction is, the implementation might be so hectic and might not be visible because so many of our stadiums that these games are being played are not technology worthy unless they improve on them and install up-to-date technology. And they cited some stadiums that need to be upgraded technology-wise. But we'll see how all those ones pan out. It's a good development in the MPFL to see VAR coming, but with improvement and upgrading of our technologies is going to help the officiating of these referees the more. That's all for me for now.
All right, Sean, thank you for that one time for being part of the program this morning. Right about now, you heard that by Solomon is standing by to give us words of wisdom. As you hear, Solomon, good morning. Over to you.
Good morning, my children. I'm sorry about that. Good morning. It's a brand new Wednesday. The 6th day in the month of September. We give glory to God. Here we are. God has been sparing our life and has been keeping his promises over us. You see, my name is Pastor Solomon, and the Bible is my watchword. Today is Wednesday. I want to do it so that we can go. Because I know that some of you are preparing for work, and some of you are already at work. You are already at work. I greet all of you watching me right now. Whether in your shop or in your house, either in the bookshop. I greet everybody. Oh. You see, my word, the word of wisdom I have for you today quickly. When people are determined to find fault, they can accuse a snail of overspeeding. Hear me again. When people are determined to find fault, they can accuse a snail of overspeeding. My children, you cannot please everybody. Oh. If you are trying to please everybody, you will fail. You will fail. Because it is not possible to please everybody. Because there are some people that have determined to be finding fault. They will never see anything good from you. All they are looking for is fault, mistake. You will do a nice program like this. You will be surprised what somebody will say about the program. It is your mistake they will be looking for. They will not look at what you are saying. They will not look at what the pastor is preaching. But they will be looking at when the pastor will speak incorrect English. You see? That is the fact they will be looking. So people have determined. So you cannot please them. Even when you die, some people will still say you did not die well. You see? That is it. Some people have determined. Some people are just like that. So my children, you cannot please everybody. You cannot please everybody. Just be yourself and do the rest. Do your best and leave the rest. That is it. When you are even thinking you have tried, some people will say you have not tried, you have not done anything. When people are you know snail. Some people can still accuse snail that is overspeeding. Snail, no? Igmi. Snail. They will accuse snail that is overspeeding. Why? Because they are just finding fault. They don't see anything good. They don't see anything positive. All they want to see is negative. And they always prove that they are always right. So my children, today, do your best. Don't try to please everybody. Just do what it is right. If you are being given a responsibility at work, do it judiciously. If it is at home, perform your duty. If it is in church, do what you have been given to do. And leave the rest to God. Because you cannot please everybody. When people are determined to find fault, they can accuse a snail of overspeeding. That is the word of wisdom I have for you today, my children. God will bless you in the name of Jesus. Tomorrow is Thursday. We shall see some by the grace of God. Make sure that the Bible is your watchword, because the Bible is my watchword. Bye. Oh.
It was this morning. We apologize for that mix up in transmission right about now. But back to what we have for discussion today. We know that today makes it 100 days in office of the new president Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and we know the situation of the country. Even the president, with his broker that he has always had to talk to the citizens, have always stated it that the country have to go through this hard time. That is just for a little period of time, and things will get better. That is to say, he acknowledged the fact that the times are hard, and it's really, really hard on the people and the citizens, and that is why even the federal government have made out palliatives for people. And a lot, although we have our own thoughts about that, different opinion about that, if the palliative will actually get to the needed people. But today we want to talk about the coping mechanism in this our Nigerian economy. As it stands now, we know how hard it is. What are the coping mechanisms? How are we surviving? How are we doing things? How are we trying to get food on our table? And we want you to contribute to this conversation with the number you'll be seeing on your screen. Call us to tell us what you think. How are you coping? What is the coping mechanism you have been using so far in these hard times as a Nigerian? And if you're watching through our social media platforms, drop a comment for us too on how you are coping and how you intend to cope, and your advice for other people. And also hit the share button also. I still have with me John, Abigail, and Abiodun this morning, and they are all Nigerians, and so far so good. They are still living in Nigeria, and it's biting them too. Okay, Abiodun says she's not in Nigeria, but so far so good. She's in Nigeria, and all of us are feeling the burn and the pains. There's nobody who will say, even the rich, they are crying at the situation. Let's first establish what we have on ground as a country. I know our president have told us that it's just for the meantime that things will get better. But had we at any time had this hard in our nation? John?
No, not really. It's just that, from one government reign to the other, the economy has been falling and falling. And before we came into the global recession, and from global recession, everybody is still struggling from one country to the other. It is general, not only here, because if you look at our own situation, I want to say Nigerian situation is peculiar in the sense that we are not in any way improving. The economic situation is not in any way improving. When we used to grow up then, when we were growing then, and then we were growing into the society, we used to know that Nigeria do export, and it helps our economy so well that in fact we have a lot. We can say there's lots in the society to eat. You have plenty on your table. But now Nigeria, I'm not sure we are exporting anything. If we are exporting, it is only meant for some people, some particular people doing that. Mostly everything we have in our economy that should help us, we are importing. And this has taken great toll of downward movement of our economy in Nigeria. And then the leaders too, they are not even looking at the masses now. It is only to themselves. So the sharing quota is not really going all around. And now we are here. The situation of the economy has been so bad before the new government comes in here, and we are here. So one thing I am so glad, or one thing that is peculiar to Nigerians, is that we have a way of coping. We have a way of managing the situation, and everybody will get better. So God, I want maybe God give us that special as Nigerians.
So is it the characteristic of suffering and smiling?
Smiling.
Like the
It is not really suffering and smiling. Nigerians naturally are tough. So there's no way you find them that they will not cope. They will get through the situation. And that's why wherever you go in the world, you find Nigerians there.
definitely.
So
That's true.
because, and it may be the way God wired Nigerians, especially, we
so
always
from-
find a
from
way
the way you are,
to cope.
Yeah, from the way you have been talking, somebody actually says something like this similar online, and if you see how he was attacked, he was saying, they were telling him that you are used to suffering. That is why we don't speak up when we need to speak up. That is why we need to fight when we need to fight. It's hard time as Nigerians, we just don't sit down but do something. But that's another story for another day. Abigail, like I said, like I asked John, we know the situation of things in the country, and he has said we have never had it this bad. For you as a person, how do you even, what is your thought about what we are having? Do you feel, because I know I was in church the day we went for Thanksgiving, or 10 years anniversary Thanksgiving, and the pastor, the man of God, was saying that the situation on ground is bad, that even the present is worse than the former one. And I asked somebody from behind me, I know him very well, and he said no, inside the church. He said no, he doesn't agree with that. So your own thought, do you agree with the fact that what we are having now is really, really hard it's really, really a hard time for us, or you just feel it's a little phase that we just fizzle away so easily?
Okay, looking at it, like I said it during the newspaper review when you asked me about the 100 days in office of the president. I said the president is trying his best to see that the citizens are comfortable. And I mentioned it earlier that in getting to the top, in achieving the best, a lot of process is needed. And that process, it could not be convenient. It won't be comfortable. So I see it as a phase that will pass away. Looking at the fact that our president still comes out to tell us that, look, it's not as if I'm doing this to inconvenience anybody. We all know that even for example, the fuel subsidy that was removed, it's for our own good. Because yes, it's not that palatable, it's not that convenient. Looking at the high price of things, the cost of transportation, food stuff, livelihood, living, and the rest is all high just because of the removal of fuel subsidy. But we should know that it will be good, it will be better. We should keep hoping. You know, I don't know who said it. Maybe it was here on set who said, or where, maybe at home, I don't know that. Okay, yesterday we said renewed hope. The president is on a target of renewing Nigeria in a better hope. So let's hold on to that. Even for him to have the confidence of coming out to address us amidst what is happening, we should know that the president has the best for us in mind, and he's willing to see that Nigerians are comfortable. He's trying his best, even though it's not palatable at this moment, but very soon we'll come back to give the testimony that yes, Nigeria is a better place.
All right, John said that we are wired differently. Maybe as Nigerians, when God was creating us,
opinion.
yeah, your opinion. When God was creating us, He put this extra wire to ginger us, and we can always cope in everything that we are doing. So, Abiodun, He has said so, and we have been coping.
Yeah, I've been
In one way or the other, we have been coping. We are still eating. We are still coming to work. We are still doing. How have we been coping as Nigerians?
I would say people have been coping in this country. As John has said, that we are always stand by in anything, any situation that comes to our way, we will always proceed and we'll move on. Because when they remove the fuel subsidy, a lot of people were saying, there will not be cars on the road, a lot of people will not be able to go to work. But after like 2 days, 3 days, everything became normal. People start buying fuel, and people started moving to their place of work. People started adjusting with the situation. So we always adjust in every situation that we meet ourselves. And in this country, a lot of things have been happening. people have changed their routine of eating
Definitely.
to 101, 11. Everybody, a lot of things is happening. So many people will adjust. Nigerians will always adjust to the situation that we always find ourselves. And in planning and everything that we are doing, we should always plan. Plan before you achieve whatever you want to do. Because if you plan ahead, whatever you have, you'll be able to plan maybe your income that is coming, you know what to just, how to share it, and you'll be able to allocate yourself for that month. So many things have been happening and we have been coping.
All right, we still hope that you watching out there will call us to tell us how you have been coping as this time in our country. So we expect you to call in with the number you are seeing on your screen to tell us how you have been coping so far. I know Abiodun made a statement about we as humans, as people, as Nigerians, changing our eating routine. For some of us, that we eat just 2 times a day before, it's not really hard on us. Because I don't like eating very early in the morning. So by the time you take breakfast by 11 or so, you know that breakfast will take you till about 8 in the evening or 7. And when I eat, that is the second meal and I'm good. But some of us who eat a day, 5 times a day, is really
It's
telling
really hard
on
for a
us.
lot of people.
And it's not, when you don't eat, you don't think straight. That is the power of food. That is just the truth. When you don't eat well, you don't think straight. You might not even have plans for yourself that day. So you have talked about planning. Abigail, what are some other things we think we have been using or we can still use as coping mechanism for this time, as the president have said, for this few time to get ahead?
Looking at what is going on with need and trying to see that we are adjusting. Many people are still yet to adjust to the situation in the country, but the little I can say about trying to adjust with what is going on is Abiodun has mentioned eating, like the 3 square meal, you cut it to 2 square meal in a day. So looking at the fact of those who have vehicles, like if there are places that I have someone that he when the first subsidy was removed, he was actually still taking his car to the office and everything, but when he saw he could not cope anymore, he decided to say, okay, let me board transport and see and calculate the transport I will board for a week to the money I used to buy fuel for a week. So he did that for a week and he got to know that it's better he enter public transport to work because it costs lesser than buying fuel in his car for a whole week. So he planned that his car will be taking it to maybe important places in which he needed, maybe going to the island. You have to take, it's best to take your ride with you. So he was able to do that. So for those who have mobile vehicles or whatever, let's try and be calculative. Places you want to go, try and see the price, entering public transport and taking that car, which is the best, which is more which can you save more. Also looking at the fact of those who are working, not every day, say we should not put our eggs in one basket. You can look for a side hustle, a side business to do to support your income that comes to you in a month. Most people who are into business, some people who prefer business than working, because the gain they get is more than I'm not discouraging you working, but to be able to adjust and survive in the present economy, I think we should be able to look for one side business, one side hustle to add up and support us in our monthly salary.
I want to also add that when you are buying your food stuff, buying in bulk is better than you should buy food in bulk, because buying every week or you want to buy rice, you spend more. But when you have opportunity, when you have a little money, buy in bulk so that it will be able to, you'll have planned it that this thing I'm buying should be able to take me for this month before you get another income if you are a salary earner. So you should be able to buy in bulk and know the way you ration the food, the way you are going to use it. So it pays a lot when you buy in bulk than buying every day or bit by bit.
All right, you have talked about food, buying in bulk, and that is what some of us family men do. We give our wives the money and try and buy those things in bulk, and it take us for some few days before going to the market. But people are trekking in this country. I wish someone around was here. Okay, make a talk. People they trek very well for this country. And I know somebody like Sanusi or John will be might decide to lean towards that trekking part because he's a sportman. He'll tell you it's good for your body. But Sanusi, please, in this situation that we are, for people like us that might not have the strength to trek, what are we going to do? What are we coping with? Quickly, before we round up.
Well, on that, you just need to adjust yourself because you must get to work, and and also the workplaces also should set a mechanism in places. Some people can work from home. They can be shifting in the days of work. Maybe not throughout the week you come to work, depending on the kind of job you do. Maybe 3 times or maybe 4 times in a week, to reduce the cost of transportation. And it's also a time for everybody to be financially disciplined. You need to learn how to be disciplined, the way you spend, what you put your money on. This time around, what is most important to people is putting food on the table, to eat, to sustain. The sustainability now is what everybody looks out for, what to eat. It is not I want to accumulate this, I want to do. But in all this, some people are still living large. Some people are still living large. But for us, we need to put our heads down, plan, focus, minus what you need to, the unnecessary. In economy, a scale of preference. Put forward what are needed most for you to achieve. And I think with that, walking is an exercise. Please walk.
I know I told you that he's going to support that we should walk, but it's exercise too. You can do it when necessary, and we have said try to cut down on your plans and your spendings for this hard time. And somebody should ask me how I'm coping. My coping mechanism is emotional control and discipline, so that the things will not get to me. I try to think less. That's one of those things that we should do too. Don't always focus on the bad side. At least let's focus on the good side small. Let's think about the positive. Yes, let's focus on the positive. Think about that God is going to do it. When you think too much about the hard times, then it will weigh you down psychologically. So what I used to tell people, like people who know me here, problem not the finish. Put a smile on your face, no matter the condition, no matter the situation, you can go through it if you really, really, really believe. Let's be positive. This is how far we can go on the program today. Thank you for being part of the program. We won't be able to give you another episode of this program this week, tomorrow, or next tomorrow, which is Friday, because of church activities that we need to take. The CAU teachers training will be coming up starting this evening, and we are going to be giving you that live and direct. So we won't be able to have that. So okay, I'm having information that program has been cancelled, and maybe we should be hoping that we have another episode this week. But right about that is how far we can go on the program today. Put a smile on your face no matter the situation, and always know that God loves you, and so do we. Bye for now.